Few weeks back, I uploaded this post where I had informed that I'll be doing a Q&A video very soon because the channel had just crossed 10k subs, which is kind of a small achievement that I consider. So thanks to each and every one of you who is watching this video right now, or whoever has watched any video in this channel in the past. You are a part of this YouTube family that I have, and I would like to connect to each and every one of you through comments and DMs. So here is a 10k special Q&A video, and we are starting right now. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Taha Khan. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I share with you clinic and exam related productivity tips and strategies. If this is your first time here, start now by subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss anything. Now before I start taking all the questions, I want to ask you a question. I want to know something from you, and this is important for me and also for you. So I will put the question at the end of this video. So do check that out. I will also timestamp the question in the description below so you can directly jump to that question. But do comment and share your thoughts on it. And now the questions. So this is a question by Shagufta Shaheen, and she asks that is there 100% guarantee to get a job after MD, especially in government sector? Now, if you want an honest answer, if you want me to give you a direct answer, then I would say that there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. No one can guarantee that you will get a job after MD. Also, no one can guarantee that you will not get a job after MD. It all depends upon the suitability. There will be a vacancy, there will be a post, you will have to apply for that, you will have to check whether you are eligible or not. If you are eligible, then you apply for it. If you get selected, then only you will get the job. So there is no guarantee that you will get a job. But yes, one thing I can say for sure, that if you have an MD degree, MD is a higher qualification than BHMS. So if you have that MD degree, then of course you will have a better chance of getting the job. Now the next question is by Nafisa Hayat, and she says that how many minimum marks to be scored to get a chance in government college in AIA PGT for SC, ST, OBC and general candidate? See Nafisa, first of all you understand that AIA PGT is not your BHMS exam, it is a competitive exam. So in this exam marks hardly matters. It doesn't matter that there is no passing marks, that 50% is the passing marks, you get above 50 then you get admitted in any college. No, it all depends upon the rank. It is a competitive exams largely depends upon your rank. Like when I appeared in my MD exam, that was way back in 2014, at that time only 6 people of all the candidates who appeared in the exam, only 6 people qualified because the paper was so tough. But eventually what happened, that the minimum cutoff marks had to be lowered to accommodate all the eligible students, and after that a lot of students obviously got admission, not only those 6 students. So minimum marks here doesn't matter, percentage matters. Now if you ask me what is the percentage, then that also I would say that it depends upon the question. It depends from every year to year. Suppose this year there was certain percentage, above that every student got admitted into college. Suppose say that was a 70%. But next year this may be low, this may be even higher, because it all depends upon the difficulty of the paper. If the paper is difficult, then you will get admission at low marks, at low percentage. And if the paper is easy, then most of the students will qualify, most of the students will have more percentage. So their rank will matter. You will get admission at a much higher percentage. You will have to score much in that, more in that. So marks doesn't matter here, your rank does. But in general, just a rough idea, if you want me to say what is the percentage that you need to score to get admission into MD, then I would say that be in the top 10 rank. Because if you don't want to have any element of doubt whether you will get admission or whether you will not get admission, then get to the top 10 ranks. And top 10 ranks means if you are scoring above 7, this is like a usual, a normal, an average paper I am saying, like the past few years that is coming. If you have 75 to 80%, if you are scoring 75 to 80%, then there are very high chances that you might get selected. Again, I am saying might, not sure, because percentage doesn't qualify you getting a seat in MD. Your rank does. If you are in top 10, then I can say it for sure that at least anywhere you will at least get a seat in MD. But percentage, even if your percentage is 90%, I cannot say that for sure, because if that year paper is very easy, like most of the students have scored 90%, then even with 90% you will not land in any college. So rank matters, not percentage. Next, Rahul says that sir, my internship start on 27th December. क्या मैं exam के लिए eligible हूँ? I am supposing this is 27th of December 2020, last year. So see Rahul, whether you are eligible or not, this will be defined, this will be identified when the notification for the AIA PGT 2021 exams comes out. So you will have to check into the brochure. In the brochure they will mention the eligibility criteria. Who are the students who will be qualified to sit in the exam, to appear in the exam. They will mention the last date of completion of internship. So suppose your internship has started in 27 December as you have mentioned. So I suppose it will end on 26th of December. So if the eligibility criteria in the brochure, it is mentioned that whoever student whose internship has completed on or before 26th December, they will be eligible, then you will be eligible. But if internship completion date is prior to December, then obviously you will not be eligible. So whether you are eligible or not eligible, this will be defined in the brochure of the notification of the AIPGT 2021 exam. Next question is by Subhajit De, and the question is probable exam date of AIPGT 2021. See, the probable date of AIPGT 21 has not been notified by the NTA right now. The latest notification that they had published in the public notice on May 5th, 21 was that the exam was supposed to be held on 7th of June 21, but due to this COVID lockdown, it has got postponed to 3 months at least. So if you calculate from that, at least you are not having any exam till August. So expect the exam to be conducted anytime after August. The next question is by Shipra Chaturvedi, and she says spending 3 years in MD or experience of 3 years, which is worth the most? So actually this is a very thoughtful question, whether you should pursue MD or if you are getting any permanent job, whether you should pursue that, because in that case you will have an experience. So a separate video can be done on this particular topic. So if you want me to take this topic and make a full-length video on this, do comment in the comment section below and let me know. The next question is by Amani Gurjala. Can you please make video on important topics from each subject to be focused for AIPG 2021 exam? Thank you. And I also have few questions, similar questions, that by Saroj Gupta, important topics in every subject. Then by Antara Deshkar, please make video on 60 days timetable in most likely topics and most likely topics for AIPGT. Then also Priyanka Vashist, she says that sir, this year most likely topics to study from each subject is much awaited. Last year's video was very helpful. Also Ananya Kundu, most likely topics for AIPGT 21, and please make some MCQ discussion type videos. So the AIPGT, the topics that I made last year, I am already working to make similar video this year for the AIPGT, the topics that are important that you need to study for the AIPGT 2021 exam. And also I will give you a bit of study routine for the last 60 days or for the last 50 days. I'll give you that. But I'm already working on that video. Actually, I am preoccupied right now with so many work you cannot imagine. I have a lot of work that is going on right now in my life. But still, I am side by side doing that work also, and that takes time because I have to analyze previous year's papers, the previous question paper of 2020, what was important back then, what is important right now. So I am already working on that and I will be uploading that video in the coming few weeks. And as for the discussion type video, MCQ videos, I have already made at least 2 videos which is MCQ based and discussion type with explanations. I will put the link of those videos down in the description. Do check that out, Ananya. The next question is by Asifa Sultana, and she says the first question is study routine for AIPG 2022, and the second is which are the most important chapters of practice of medicine for AIPGT. Okay, so I will be making this study routine video with the probable topics for AIPGT 21. You can check that video out when it is uploaded in the coming few weeks. And as for the second question, the important topics for practice of medicine, I would suggest that you study nervous system, GIT and excretory. These systems are very important for AIPGT 2021 exam. The next question is by Tapas Chaudhary, and he says any business idea for BAMS doctors or students. So Tapas, I can tell you a million ideas. There are like endless business ideas, passive income ideas that you can do while you are in your college, while you are a student. So what I can do is, this is a nice topic. and I can make a full video on this, the passive income ideas or a small business ideas that you can do while you are studying. So comment below and let me know whether you want me to make a video on this topic. The next question is by Himanshu Parashar, and the question is best subjects for MD, and the second question is top private colleges for MD. So this best subject for MD, I have already made a video on this topic. I will put the link of that video down in the description below. Do check that out. And for the private colleges for MD, I think that all private college, if you are not going for MD in any government college, if you are going for a MD degree in private college, then I think your main motive is to get an MD degree. And in that case, getting this degree doing MD from any private college is equivalent. There is no better or there is no worse. So I would suggest that if you are going for MD in a private college, then go for the college which is nearest to you. Suppose if I am in West Bengal there are no private colleges for MD. So Himanshu, if suppose you are from West Bengal, then you can look for colleges in and around the state. Next, Isha Gupta says books for every subject. So I'll tell you what are the books that I had followed. So for anatomy, I followed B.D. Chaurasia. For pharmacy, Mandal and Mandal. For organon of medicine, the translation by R.E. Dajan, the 5th edition translation. And for materia medica, from the first year itself, you can study from H.C. Allen, the Allen's Keynote. That is the only main book, that is like the main book, the go-to book for you for materia medica. And also you can add Boric from second year and third year onwards. Next, for community medicine, I had studied Park. For gynae and obs, DC Datta is enough. For repertory, I had studied S.K. Tiwari, and also a recent book that is Repertory Expert. That is also a very nice book that you can study both for BHMS and for competitive exam preparation. For surgery, Manipal. For medicine, of course, if you can study Harrison, then go for that. But if you cannot study Harrison, if it is like you find it too cumbersome, then at least study it from Davidson. For physiology, you can study Mahapatra. So these were more or less the book that I had followed. Now I won't recommend you to follow these books. You follow the books that is recommended by your college, that is recommended by your university. So what I will do, I will put the link of all the books for all the subjects that are necessary, that are important, that are useful to be studied. And whenever a new books come along, what I will do, I will change the link of that subject, the book of that subject. So what you can do, you can save this video, because I will be updating every now and then whatever book I find useful. So do check out the link of all the books in the description below. Next question is by Sajira Yusuf, how to manage MD entrance exam studies and clinical practice simultaneously. So given by your question, I assume that you had appeared in the AIPJT exam earlier and now you want to try again, but this time you have started your clinic practice. So you want to prepare for your exam alongside your clinic. The first thing that I want to tell you is that you are starting with experience now. You have already appeared in the exam in the past, and now you know what are the things that needs to be studied, what are the things that needs to be avoided. If you know these things, 50% of your work is already done. So you have this experience which the freshers lack. So what you can do, 3 things I am saying what you can do. 1, study in your clinics when there are no patients, when you have this free time. Second, utilize the days on which you don't have any clinics, because these days are your golden days. And third, I would suggest you to join any test series for self-evaluation, so that you will know at least that whatever you are preparing, how much you are able to score. That way you can self-assess that what need to be studied, which subject you need to study more, which topic you need to study more. So if you are following these things, I think it will be easy for you to manage clinic and side by side also prepare for MD entrance exam. Next question is by P. Chatterjee, and there are a lot of questions, so I will take one question at a time. What is the job probability after MD, sir? So as I said that if you have an MD degree, then you have a better chance of getting a job. Next is, what is the scope of jobs after MD in abroad? See, first of all, you will have to find out the regulations of the country in which you want to apply for. There will be certain regulations that you will have to follow. Like suppose if you want to practice homeopathy in other country, then you will have to pass a common exam, I suppose. and then only you will be eligible to practice in that. And once you have that, you can apply for jobs in that country. You will have to search the medical council of the country and see whether you are eligible, and if you are not, then what is the process that you can become eligible. Next is it possible to do MSc Neuroscience after MD? What will be the best colleges? I don't think that in homeopathy you have super specialization for MSc in Neuroscience. Next is, what is the average pay scale of a doctor after MD homeopathy? Now see, this depends whether you are applying or whether you have got a government job or a private job. Even in government jobs, it depends whether you are under central government or whether you are under state government. But if you want me to give a rough idea, then if you have a job of a medical officer in the central government, then you can expect to have salaries anywhere between 60 to 90,000 per month. And if you are in the state jobs, then you can expect to have salaries around 50 to 60,000. And whenever there is a vacancy for any job, you have a pay scale grade for that job according to which you will get paid. Next question is by Andy. Why there is lack of jobs in homeopathy? Now I think there is not lack of jobs only in homeopathy, but there is lack of jobs everywhere. So this is a question that you should be asking the government. Next is, why homeopathy is an underrated field? See, I feel that it is underrated because more and more homeopaths are job driven and less clinic driven. Like suppose, see your first question, why there is lack of jobs? Your first question was about jobs. So any famous homeopath that you know is because of the doctor in him, because of his ability to treat patients, not because he was excellent in service. Answer me this one simple question. Who is the best medical officer in your district? Probably you won't know the answer, neither would I, because it doesn't matter. But if I ask you who is the best homeopathic doctor in your district or who is the best doctor in your district, you would know the answer because it matters. So through jobs, you will survive, but homeopathy will die. Next is, why there is less respect of homeopath as a doctor in the society. Now I don't think this is true, because a good homeopathic doctor is seen with a lot of respect in the society. But this respect you will have to earn, and this can only be achieved by being a good doctor to the patient, by being able to treat the patient, by being able to relieve people of their sufferings. So once you achieve this level, once you get to this level, you yourself will start noticing that you are getting all the respects that a doctor should in the society. So that's it. These were the questions asked by you on the post. Now the question that I want to ask. So this has come to my observation, and this has also been from my experience, that of all the subjects that we are required to prepare for the MD entrance exams, of all the subjects, Materia Medica is the most difficult subject because of a number of reasons. A, because of its vastness, because Materia Medica has no defined syllabus. There is nothing called a syllabus of Materia Medica. Questions gets asked from everywhere and anywhere. So you can never have a complete syllabus of Materia Medica. And B, by the nature of Materia Medica, that you can never complete Materia Medica in few months by studying few months, especially when you have 11 other subjects to prepare also. No matter how good you have prepared your Materia Medica today, in the next 30 days, you are gonna forget everything. So it can only be prepared through constant and repeated hammering. So I know the difficulty, I know the struggle, because I have been there myself and I know how to deal with it. So what I have thought is, I will be teaching Materia Medica right from the BHMS level, from the second BHMS, from the third BHMS levels. I will be uploading videos on Materia Medica where I will be teaching, I will be taking each drugs and I will be teaching what are the important things that you need to know for BHMS exams, for written, for Viva. And alongside that, I will also be telling you what are the important things that you need to study in this drug for your competitive exams preparation, for MCQs preparation. So this way, you will have a guided preparation both for BHMS and competitive exams right from your second year and third year. And by the time you reach your internship, Materia Medica will become Pani. It will become your most strong subject. So these are my thoughts that I wanted to share, and I want your suggestions as well. So let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on it. Let me know how you like the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.